Okay, guys, I was telling that we provide the first draft of project schedule and give it to project team and key decision makers. And once project sponsor and key decision makers, the people who pay us, okay, approve this project schedule, that project schedule becomes what? Becomes schedule baseline. It will be freezed from now on. Remember scope baseline, guys? It was our promised list of work and deliverables. Now, schedule baseline is our promised start and end date for each activities or milestones or deliverables. Schedule baseline is official promise of what the schedule should look like. So later you can track actual performance versus the plan, okay? If things go off track during execution, this is what you compare with. That's why it is called a schedule baseline, guys, okay? So schedule baseline will look like something like this, okay? We won't have columns like actual start date or actual finish date, no. We only have one start date and one finish date because this is our promise, okay? Now, this list, this table will be static, okay? We won't change this table, this promise, unless through formal change control process, guys. Like example of updating this schedule baseline, for example, stakeholder forgets a requirement, okay? Meet project, instead of, for example, 500 parking lots for hospital, they need 550 parking lots. Now, you as a project manager and your team evaluate this request, okay? You find the impact, you do impact analysis, okay? If we execute this request, how it will affect our cost, our schedule, our resources, our risk. This is called impact analysis. And then you write down these findings and provide it to the change control board. And if they approve this request, like increasing 50 parking lots, then you update the scope baseline, and of course your schedule will change. So you will update schedule baseline also. Your cost will change. We're going to have a document called cost baseline. You have to update that cost baseline also. So schedule baseline is official promise. It's a frozen dates. It won't change unless through official integrated change control process. Okay, guys? Now, Nav, you said the first output was project schedule. The second output is a schedule baseline. Is there a difference between these two? Yes. So what's the difference, guys? Guys, project schedule, the previous output, the first output we talked about, is living, updated view of reality. Okay, but the schedule baseline is frozen approved reference. So let's elaborate with an example. Guys, let's say a delay happens in a project and we know this delay is temporary. We update project schedule, okay, but we won't update project baseline. We only update project baseline through formal change channels, but project schedule always reflect the reality, what's going on with the project. So it is a document that is being updated constantly based on realities, based on current performance of the project. This is the difference, okay? So schedule baseline is only the approved dates. It contains the planned start and finish dates that were officially approved by sponsor, okay? It is frozen, meaning you cannot change it unless a change request is approved. Columns you usually see in the schedule baseline are baseline start, baseline finish, and then baseline duration. This never changes unless you re-baseline. But project schedule is the real live updated schedule you're working with, okay? It contains the current dates based on actual progress. So to wrap it up, guys, we have one document called project schedule, okay? It's a living document. It shows the actual dates, okay? Because our project is performing and we have actual progress, okay? Based on this progress, this project schedule shows and reflect the real numbers. But schedule baseline is a frozen document, okay? This does not show the current progress or current performance. This is baseline, our reference point, okay? We compare our current progress, we track performance and compare it with this baseline. Baseline is a promised dates, guys. But project schedule shows the reality right now, okay? What's the actual finish date? What's the actual start date? This is the difference between project schedule and baseline. Awesome. Now, to clear things up, let's have a mini question. Let's get it done. Mini question, my favorite part. You are a project manager leading a program where multiple teams provide monthly progress updates. During the latest review, you notice several teams reporting that they are on track, yet the integrated schedule shows the final milestone slipping by 3 weeks. When you ask for clarification, different teams reference different versions of the schedule. Stakeholders now want to know whether the project is actually behind or whether the issue is caused by inconsistent reporting. What should you do first? A. Ask each team to send their latest working schedules so you can merge the most recent information. B. Hold a meeting to realign everyone on the new expected completion date. C. Review the approved schedule baseline to confirm the true planned dates before assessing any variance. And D. Updates the schedule with the team's latest numbers to reestablish a current forecast. Good question, guys. Pause the video, get me the right answer, and then unpause it, please. 30 seconds, okay? Not more. Go get it done, please. Now, let's solve it together. Let's go line by line. Let's learn something from this question. It says you are a project manager leading a so you have multiple teams, guys, okay? During the latest review, you notice several teams reporting that all of the teams are saying, hey, we are on track. But integrated schedule, what's integrated schedule? It is just one big schedule that includes all schedules of different teams. Okay, integrated schedule means if there are like 3 teams and each has one schedule integrated, merge all of the schedules into one big schedule. One big schedule shows that the milestone, the project finish date is sleeping by 3 weeks. Now, the question is telling team members are referring to different versions of a schedule. So team members are comparing their current performance because when you're reviewing a schedule, guys, you compare your current performance, your current progress with this baseline, with this reference point. You compare it with something, and that is baseline. And when we're talking a schedule, that baseline is called schedule baseline, that promised dates, okay? Not project schedule. So these current schedule data is recorded in project schedule, but promise list is in schedule baseline, okay? You notice the question states that there are multiple versions of this. It is not acceptable, guys. It is just one project, guys. The project needs to have one schedule baseline. We shouldn't have multiple versions. If that's okay to have multiple versions, but everybody needs to use the latest version of schedule baseline or scope baseline or cost baseline. Okay? Everybody needs to compare their performance, their current progress, with one single reference point, one single schedule baseline. That's why option C is the correct one. And remember, guys, it says, what should you do first? It is asking you as a project manager about your first action. As I told you before, there's a difference between first action and best action. Okay, first action means the first step you take. The first step is, hey, review the approved schedule baseline to confirm the true planned dates. Because the question is saying there are multiple versions. Guys, we need to make sure we have a reliable schedule baseline first, and then we compare the current performance with that baseline. You need to review and make sure, okay, there's only one version. What are the true planned dates? Are all team members using one true planned dates? If they are not, you need to gather them and teach them, align everyone, okay? Shared understanding of the right or true planned start and planned finish dates. Okay, they shouldn't, team members shouldn't use different versions, different plan dates. That's your job, guys. Okay, you are project manager. You need to coordinate different teams. Okay, if teams are using different versions, it's your fault. I'm sorry, but it is your fault. Let's read the description, guys. The schedule baseline is the official approved version used to measure performance. You cannot determine whether slippage is real until you compare actual progress against the baseline, not team-created working versions. PMBOK requires identifying variances against the baseline before initiating corrective or preventive actions. Okay, there will be some variances, differences. By variance, I mean differences between the actual data and the planned data. That's okay. That's not okay, actually, but variances happen, guys. But you need to make sure you have reliable reference point first. Everybody needs to use one single reference point or baseline. Why A is incorrect? A says ask each team to send their latest working schedule so you can merge. No, we don't do that, guys. Merging working schedules spreads inconsistency and hides the true planned commitments. Option B says hold a meeting to realign everyone on the new expected completion date. Realigning dates before understanding variance is premature and may mislead stakeholders. Guys, you need to make sure you have true planned dates first and then realignment happens, okay? That's why the question says, hey, what's your first action? This option B could happen after option C. That's a cool idea to realign everyone. But first, the first action is option C. Option D says update the schedule with the team's latest numbers to reestablish a current forecast. Updating the schedule without consulting the baseline corrupts the ability to measure actual performance. We do not, guys, the first action is reviewing the baseline. Let's make sure that the our plan dates are true, and then we can realign everyone. Then we can integrate change, like raise a change request to update baseline if necessary. This happens after reviewing the baseline and ensuring that, hey, okay, these planned data are correct data. Awesome. Now let's continue our outputs for develop schedule. We had two outputs so far: project schedule, which is a living document, and schedule baseline, which is our frozen document, our promised schedule data to our stakeholders. Awesome. Let's continue our mini lessons with two remaining outputs. Let's get it done.